Money Shift here, we have the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, and I've
Wow.
covered a little over 1,000 miles in this truck since I have began ownership. I think we're somewhere at 1,316. That might be exact. We'll see when we get inside. And there's been a lot of things that I've liked, but a lot of things that I haven't liked about this truck. So in this video, we are going to cover them all. What are the 5 things I've enjoyed about the Toyota Tacoma, and what are the 5 things that I wish Toyota would change or I have not enjoyed during my ownership of this truck? And we're going to start glass half full. What are the 5 positive things about this Toyota Tacoma? The first one, you're looking at it. I love the design of this truck. While my model is the TRD Off-Road, which you can tell because we have the black fender flares, we have these off-road looking wheels with all-terrain tires, right? Where the TRD Sport has the hood scoop and color matched flares. I think overall the look of the new Toyota Tacoma is the business. It has these aggressive hips. I love the contrast in the flares. I love the front end with the integrated fog lights. I'm a big fan of the headlight design. I think the taillight design is also really great. Overall, just the design of this truck, that integrated little spoiler there on the cab looks really, really nice. These wheels look great. The aesthetic of this truck just pushes a little bit above its weight class in terms of price. Yes, this is nearly $50,000, but you don't have to spend that price to get this look. Even in SR5 trim, it looks very, very good. Toyota did a great job paying homage to Tacomas of previous, but still keeping it fresh, keeping it current with the Tacoma of now. The second thing that I love is this drivetrain. The 2.4 liter turbocharged engine has immense amounts of torque. And because of that torque, where is the prop is a lot harder to find. There it is, when you have a camera strapped to your head. The 2.4 liter turbocharged engine has a lot more torque than the outgoing V6. And because of that, you have a more drivable truck. You can be on the highway and you can leave it in 6th gear and accelerate and get to any of the speeds that you're looking to go to because of the amount of torque that this 4-cylinder has. It rattles like a diesel. It spools up like a diesel. You can leave it in gear. I just overall have really liked the experience behind the wheel of this truck. The third thing that I love about this Toyota Tacoma is inside. No, it's not Action Bronson. It is this manual transmission. Guys, we covered this manual at length in the last video on this channel. So if you haven't seen that and you're interested in more thoughts in how this works, go check that out. But this manual transmission is a special one in terms of how it works. The clutch is really well weighted. It's not an on-off switch. The throws are nice and direct. And because this isn't a cable-based manual transmission, we're directly on top of the unit. It bangs around. It kind of gives you that trucky vibe behind the wheel, which I really have enjoyed. What are the last 2 things I love about the Toyota Tacoma? Well, the steering. In pickup trucks, oftentimes, I don't know if it's in the initial assignment, I don't know if the designers or the engineers that are making the vehicles, the moment they say pickup truck, they say, oh, we got to make the steering synthetic. We got to make the steering look, feel, act like a simulator from Gran Turismo on your favorite video game. But Toyota did not do that with this Toyota Tacoma. No, this steering actually does have a little bit of weight, a little bit of feel. No, I'm not inside an Ariel Atom. That might be foreshadowing for a future video, or a Mazda Miata or an S2000 or something like that, but it is a little less synthetic than your average vehicle, which is really, really nice. I'm a big fan of the direction Toyota went with this steering overall. Now, the last thing that I've loved over the course of my ownership has been the safety suite, particularly the radar cruise and the lane tracing that Toyota offers in this Tacoma. Now, radar cruise leverages a camera up there and a sensor in the front in order to keep the truck equidistant to the vehicle in front of it whatever speed you're going. So if you're going 50 or you're going 60 and the car in front of you is going 40, it'll slow you down. But how it works in this truck is really exceptional. It does not brake really, really hard. It's not jarring. It doesn't freak out if a car comes in front. It's a really smooth operation, and I quite like Toyota's execution of the radar cruise. And the lane tracing also works remarkably well on the highway. If you have clear defined lines and the weather isn't nuts, hell, even in the dark it works pretty well, but it does a good job of keeping you centered in the lane, which is really, really great, especially for a long road trip. So that is the 5 things, right? We talked about the looks, we talked about the engine, we talked about the transmission, we talked about the steering, and we talked about the safety suite in terms of the cruise control and the lane tracing. Bonus thing that I have liked about the Toyota Tacoma over my ownership has been these seats. The seating position is a lot more natural for my body type. I did not find comfort in the last Tacoma. I couldn't really spend over 40 minutes behind the wheel without just, feeling it in my legs or my back. This truck, not only do we have a really impressive lumbar support, which is also on the passenger side, but the seat design and the seating position is just in a lot better place. So that is the happy-go-lucky bits of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma. What are the 5 things that I don't like about this truck? The first one really is this back seat. Oh, we're locked. Let's unlock here. Okay, this back seat. Now, it's not about the size of the back seat, right? I understand the truck that we're working with is not a 1500. It's not even a Ford Maverick, which prioritizes passenger comfort over, just capability. But it really is the under-seat storage, okay? You pick up these seats, you don't have much to work with down here, okay? This is a small bag from Toyota, the emergency assistance kit, and it pretty much takes up all the space, okay? And the same is true on the other side, and you have a hump here in the center, so you can't really stack anything on top. You don't have any storage under there. The second thing that grinds my gears, but we'll just keep it to the first thing because it's related to this back seat, is the fact that you have no armrest for your rear passengers, which is a little bit annoying. Now, I understand this goes all the way out like that, but you easily could have given someone an armrest right there to just increase the rear comfort here. That would have been super duper nice, but that was not the case. The second thing, located in the front, it's right here. It's this guy. I do not like the design of this system. Now, I can't knock the functionality. This thing functions super well. It's crisp, it's clear, it's quick. It works, it does whatever you need to do. Sometimes it's a little futzy, but that's true with most infotainment systems. But the design is just incredibly jarring. It just looks like they glued it right onto the dash. I actually like the 8-inch base infotainment better in terms of how it's integrated into the overall design. I think that looks better, oddly enough, than this $750 optional screen, which is interesting. The third thing is this instrument cluster. Now at night, and I'll show it off right now, some of the things on this screen don't dim. So, when you are in a driving scenario at night, your screens operate at a different brightness than they do during the day, right? That makes sense. You need a little bit more light, or you need less, right? Whatever your scenario is in your settings. But with that, usually everything dims. The center screen, the instrument cluster, all of that dims down. But there's 2. If you have your lane tracing and your radar cruise on or available, they are the same brightness that they are during the day. And that is immensely frustrating during the night because they stick out while you are driving. Your eyes come down to those 2 really, really brighter lights in this instrument cluster. The second thing that bugs me about this instrument cluster is this center section here. So I can hit OK, I can hit return, And if I hold this OK button, this is how you leverage the ability to change the things in this instrument cluster. Now, when you hit blank, which usually is my favorite for the center portion of the cluster, nothing happens. The speed you're going stays at the top. Your cruise control functions stay on the right. It doesn't bring the speed down and make it larger like you would find in an equivalent Ford product, which just creates for a kind of jarring visual. Now, this is a super small thing to nitpick on, but it is really, really frustrating. It's weird that speed doesn't come down and get larger when you don't have anything under it. Because if you have something under it, right, let's say I put, I don't know, we'll just put driving support, which is the cruise control functions, right? Same place. Nothing changed, right? Nothing changed at all, which is really, really interesting that Toyota decided to go that route. I don't know why. It feels like something so small that they could have done to just improve your quality of life behind the wheel. So we've touched on the rear seat, both the under seat storage, as well as the lack of anything for your hands. No armrest, which is a little bit frustrating. We've touched on this screen and how I feel like it's tacked on. And then we talked about this instrument cluster and the two things that really, really frustrate me. So what's the last thing? Well, to be honest, I expected a little bit more in the gas mileage department. Now, this truck is rated for 23 on the highway. So Toyota is being quite honest with that figure. Combined, I've seen 19.5 miles to the gallon over my 1,311 miles behind the wheel. And to be honest, I just kind of expect better. I wish this truck could be pushed into the low 20s combined without having to go to the hybrid drivetrain to get that. Now, I know a lot of it, especially with a manual, is dependent on the driver, but I can assure you guys that I'm not like boosting this thing or hitting red line outside of when I did it for the manual video in the last edition here on the Money Shift channel. So to be getting 19.5 combined is a bit of a bummer. Honestly, I would love that number to be firmly in the 20s. So what are my other thoughts? Because we've covered the 5 things that I like. I love the look. I love the engine. I love the transmission. I love the steering. And I love the tech. And then I covered the 5 things I don't like, which is this screen, the rear seat storage, and the lack of handrest, the infotainment screen, the 2 things there that just overall frustrate me. But how has my ownership been so far? And I got to tell you guys, I've quite liked the experience behind the wheel of this Toyota Tacoma. I said it before and I'll say it again. Toyota has given us a classic driving experience, albeit with some rev hang, but a really classic driving experience with modern tech. You have a brilliant screen, you have decent audio, you have really good radar cruise and lane tracing, and you have all that with a classic drivetrain that now has enough torque to stay in gears to pass. You don't have to shift down like you would in an older Tacoma manual in order to really just increase any speed. No, you can be in 5th gear going 50 miles an hour and just press the gas and that turbo will pull you through. So overall, my experience has been quite pleasant. I just wish it could have been a little bit more efficient. But those are my thoughts. I want to hear from you. If you're a current 2024 Toyota Tacoma owner, what are the things that you have enjoyed? What have you not enjoyed about your ownership thus far? If you're not, and you are a bystander potentially looking to get a Tacoma, what has interested you and what has let you down? And if you have any further questions on any of these features, definitely let me know in the comments and we will cover them at length in the next video. I'm Thanasi. This is Money Shift. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.